Okay, so now that we've actually built the kit itself, and as you can see it's not exactly rocket science, quite a straightforward build, I wanted to go and paint this. And I wanted to do it very similar to how they've done it in the box itself, if I can focus it. They've actually done it very nicely. So you've got the green, which is the typical color for the actual character itself. You've got little highlights of yellow and red over there. But they've actually gone and done it so that the individual connector pieces are gray. So that gives it more detail on the inside, and obviously the weapons and everything are in black. So I wanted to give it that much detail and see if I could actually go a little bit more to give it even more detail than just a green here. I mean, if you look at the leg, the whole thing over here is green, and I wanted to see if maybe I could do a little bit of black, maybe a little bit of yellow. I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. But at least the good thing is it's almost like the whole base color of the kit is going to be green. So that would be nice, and it makes life easier as well. Then you can go in with a paintbrush and get it done. Um, it looks nice overall. It's a fun build. This is a very nice picture of it, and this is how I want it to look in the end. So it's a darker green. I don't know what green I have or what green I can use, but let's see. Alright. Alright, so what I've done here is I've taken all the individual pieces and I've put them on sticks. And it's a very simple method. It really helps you out very, very much when you're spray painting. So you don't actually have to get anything on your hands or anyway. And it's a simple method as well. I mean, you just take the bamboo stick, stick it up a alligator clip and attach the clip to your piece. And this way you can easily move it around. You can get all the details that you want to do. It's a nice simple way of doing it. Now the way I kind of do mine is I try and attach the clip to the piece where you're going to cause the least amount of damage. To give you an idea, again, if you look at this piece, what I've done is this is the front of the piece. As you can see, it's completely open to the paint. I've attached a clip on the inside where it's gonna clip up against another piece. So this part is not really gonna matter what paint it is and everything. So as long as the main part is on the outside and you get that thing done properly, then it's okay. And once you spray paint it, then you just put it back on your styrofoam block and you move on to the next part. Alright, so now that we have the base coat pretty much painted and done, we're going to have to go in and do a little bit of detail painting. For example, if you look at this piece here, we've got pretty much everything green, but I want to make this whole part like a gray or a black or something like that. This section over here is going to become white. This little piece over here is going to become white. Go in, I don't know if I want to just line those or if I want to actually go and paint those some other color. Maybe just lining, I don't know. I'll have to look at that. Same thing on this side. I mean, we've got the wing on the outside of the legs. One side is white, one side is green. And here we're going to have to do the coloring with the yellow and the red on the inside. So there's just literally just, you have to mask off things. You have to get a paintbrush sometimes, get those things painted out. And after this, then we have to see if we can put in anything else, but it's just literally just going in and putting in detail work. It's not that bad, not that difficult, especially with a kit like this where they've given you all these details inside. I know there's a couple of high-grade kits I've done where there are no panel lines showing you all these things. You just kind of have to figure out where to do it, which pieces go where. Okay, so what we're going to do over here is, if you can see the different kind of panel lines, this whole section over here is going to be a different color. Now, this whole part is going to be white, and this part is going to be either yellow or golden. I don't know exactly which part I'm going to do now, but I think this is probably going to be golden. This part we're going to do white. So if we do white first, what we need to do is we need to mask out the rest of the wing and the backside as well, so that in case we're spray painting it, for example, then none of the spray goes anywhere else and we only cut that part. The best way to do that is if you have masking tape, and what you can do is just put a little piece out over here, and then you can just cut off a whole piece. Now I'm just doing a big chunk of this just to show you guys what it's like, but all we have to do is just get in there and make sure that our line where we want to mask is covered like that. There you go. And we just want to make sure that the whole thing is covered, so that when we paint, we only paint on our side, and then we can just fold up on this side, just like that. and this will give us our whole line, and we can mask it exactly how we want to do it. Now, one other thing you can do is, if you can see this little tip over there, I want to get that white as well. And if I show you, just open up the tape, you can see there's a little piece over there as well. So I want to get this piece and this piece white and this piece golden. The best way to do this is, if I just, like, this is how I done it, right? You can take your hobby knife and you can actually just slowly cut away a piece of the masking tape on that line itself. And what this will do is that rather than taking the whole thing out and working with the individual pieces thing again, you can just cut away the part that you don't need, and you've got the whole masking thing done. And you just go ahead, mask the whole thing, paint away, and by the end of it you'll get your individual details as well. Alright, so pretty much all of the spray painting has been done. What I also do is kind of group them together. So for example, here's all the shoulder pieces and the arm pieces. Here's the backbone, the waist piece, the feet piece, and the backpack. And so this just helps me put them back a little bit together. I mean, so with something this small, it's okay, but when you're doing a Master Grade Gundam or a Perfect Gundam, it always helps you group the pieces together. So it kind of helps you put them all back together once you know everything is done. And let me also show you a little bit about the masking. So once everything is already done, you can take it off the actual peg, and then you can see that I had masked off all the areas and spray painted this white. So once you actually start taking it off, then you can see everything is green on the background, and this is pretty nice. And you've got a couple of mistakes here, and this you can easily cover up as well. So this is how the masking thing works, and it's really nice to get the straight edges. Look at that. You know, it's pretty good. And if you go over there with a black liner or the Real Touch marker, the overrun part will get covered up by the lining. So in the end, it'll look all right. And this will show you a good sample of how the piece is going to look after you've masked it off. Now, I know you can see there's a little bit of paint that comes off on just the edges, which is okay, because the thing is, these are all going to be panel lined anyway. So once you do go and panel line in here with a nice thick black marker, it doesn't have to be that thick, because the panel lines themselves are fairly thick themselves. So instead of this being a white run out a little bit, it's going to be black everywhere. But this shows you a very good idea of how you can get the whole thing to be two different colors using masking. It's a little bit difficult, it's a little time consuming, especially when you have the curves and little jagged edges like over there, but you know, in the end, the end product will end up looking pretty nice.